All right. This is easy, right?
Boo.
In terms of the winner, the division winner, the Buffalo Bills. Come on. Josh Allen, arguably the best quarterback in the NFL. It's him or Mahomes, right? And Mahomes has more help. I know this is a prime example for me of sometimes people conflate fantasy production with talent. Stephon Diggs is a good receiver. Is Stephon Diggs as good as Jamar Chase? Is Stephon Diggs good as Tyreek Hill? Is Stephon Diggs as good as Deebo Samuel? No, I don't think so. For right now in their careers, Stephon Diggs is a good player who does all the right things, and hopefully Gabriel Davis can step up in that second wide receiver spot. But in terms of the talent compared to the Chiefs, I don't. I think really it's the Bills and the Chiefs, and there'll probably be a rematch again of one of the most amazing games I've ever seen. But the Bills don't have the same talent level. It's just that they have an amazing quarterback. And I loved Josh Allen coming out of Wyoming. I'm so happy to see him have success. And I root for Buffalo because it's Buffalo and they have great culture. So Von Miller could be a good addition, especially if he kind of like plays a little bit of the politics of the position and saves his body for the playoffs where he can make a real difference. But I just believe immensely in McDermott and how they've constructed that team. So I think they're going to run away with a division.
Yeah, I agree. I think they are an incredibly well-rounded team, and I think kind of the apex of the way to build a team properly and not spend a whole lot inefficiently while doing so.
But the thing about them is they did lose Brian Daboll, and Brian Daboll is now the head coach of the Giants. Like, that's a bit of some just to monitor to see if Dorsey, Ken Dorsey, the offensive coordinator, he was promoted from quarterbacks coach, to see if he has the same juice that Daboll does.
And if the correlation is like Daboll was the source of the ingenuity of the offense, or if the structure can maintain it without Daboll, if it can still operate without needing him to be the person operating it.
And I think I would bet yes, because of the talent of Josh Allen.
Yeah.
That's my guess. Now, I don't have the Patriots making the playoffs. This might be a bit of a spicy take, but I mentioned that I do not believe in Tua at all. I believe that quarterbacks should have strong arms. Hot take, but he has one of the weakest arms, if not the weakest arm of any starting quarterback in the NFL. Now, this might not be reflected in wins because the Dolphins have a top 10 roster easily in the NFL. You have Tyreek Hill, you have Jalen Waddle, who is like an emerging star who I believe in, and honestly,
I think will only get better. I think
fantasy tip, I think Jalen Waddle is going to be good, even though I know he's been dealing with a nagging injury. But
Mike Gesicki's a good tight end.
Apparently he's fallen out of favor because he doesn't block, and I know, and McDaniel wants to run that like Shanahan type run scheme.
You need a George Kittle
diet. Everyone needs George Kittle. He's so good. I didn't even mention him in the 49ers segment, but a great player as well. But they're gonna run some of these sweeps, and they're gonna do Tyreek Hill. Like, Tyreek Hill's not gonna be running in down the field and catching bombs in the way that Patrick Mahomes threw to him, because Tua is unable to do that. Tua is unable to throw. And when he does throw deep, it's Tyreek Hill. I've seen these preseason plays. It's Tyreek Hill having to find the ball, and it's not going to hit him in stride. That's just the reality of the situation. But Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle up there, I think, in terms of wide receiver duos, probably top 5 wide receiver duo in the league. I still think I'd put Jamar Chase and T. Higgins as the best. But, you got Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, also another good wide receiver combo. But I digress. And then you have a really good defense. Now, the question mark about the defense is post Brian Flores, who's an amazingly talented defensive mind, will the Dolphins defense hold up? I don't know. I think they have enough talent to get them over the edge, and that's why I think they're going to finish second in the division. And they'll have a good win-loss record, and then all of the two-and-on fans are going to be like, look, he's the quarterback of the future. He's the quarterback of the future. When arm strength matters. Like, he needs to be able to go up to in Buffalo in the winter and win a game. And I do not think he can do that. It's like he can't throw in cold weather, and he's not going to be able to make those throws to put them over the top. And I think they'll have, hopefully, Lamar Jackson could be their starting quarterback if he doesn't sign with the Ravens and hits free agency. Although they would franchise tag him, maybe tag and trade, but I don't know.
Barring something unforeseen with Tua's development, I think the Dolphins are like a slightly better version of what the Lions and the Giants are doing, in the sense of, like, I don't think this team is made for Tua. I think this team is made for the Dolphins' future.
And it's remarkable that they were able to build the team this well, given the owner that they have, Stephen Ross, who's another person up there.
Yeah, he's a top 5 worst owner in the league.
Yeah. So, I mean, I want the Dolphins to have success. But guys, I'm sorry to tell you, this stuff with Tua reminds me of the debates about Blake Bortles that we were having, and Tua's better than Blake Bortles.
Yes, I agree.
But they're both really bad and not starting quarterbacks in the NFL.
I just don't think it's sustainable. I don't think Tua is sustainable for this team's success.
Tua's more accurate. Blake Bortles, you never knew where the ball was going, but the team went to the AFC Championship.
Right. They were good enough to go to the AFC Championship
because they had freaks all over the place.
Almost
they had
in spite of him.
Calais Campbell.
Yep,
they had
Calais
Jalen Ramsey on his rookie contract. They had
Allen Robinson.
Yes,
initial Allen Robinson.
Right. I mean, they were incredibly talented, and that was the reason why he overperformed. And unfortunately for that team, they doubled down on giving him a second contract, even though he was not the guy to take them over the promised land. And look, the team fell apart quickly because of that. And you had their star players get out of Dodge and go to other places, because it was, I would imagine, incredibly frustrating to play with a quarterback that bad. And I'm hopeful that they're going to be able to move on from Tua. That's my hope. But in the interim, I do see them having success this year and having a winning record. Now, the New England Patriots. This is hard for me because I root for Belichick because I think he's a genius, right? Or has been. But I think it's fair to question some of what they're doing up there. And how long of a leash does this guy have? Because what the hell is going on with the offensive coaching?
Yeah.
Joe Judge and Matt Patricia are
two guys who have not ever been offensive coordinators before.
A special teams coordinator,
and a defensive coordinator,
and a defensive coordinator,
failed head coach.
Both failed.
Two failed head coaches, actually.
Trust me, I know. Are splitting offensive duties for a second-year quarterback who was working with one of the best offensive minds in the game, in Josh McDaniels, and now Josh McDaniels is gone. And does Judon, does the defense, does the loss of JC Jackson kind of hurt the Patriots? I think it does. And I don't see them having enough talent on the offensive side of the ball to overcome questionable coaching decisions. And I know Belichick's going to coach the defense right, but in a division that has so much talent, in the Bills and the Dolphins, and the Jets are improved, even though it might not be reflected in their win-loss record this year, and we'll get to that in a second. But the Jets have improved, Bradley. They have.
No, I agree. And hopefully, if everyone actually stays healthy, that would be a nice thing as well.
And hopefully, Johnson does not fire the whole team.
Yes, that would be nice as well.
The whole coaching staff. But
the thing with the Pats too is it's like it was the same way I felt, when they signed Aguilar and they signed, was it Hunter Henry? Yeah, Hunter. As in the personnel side of things with Belichick have given me pause, in the sense that if you look at the past 5-10 years of the first 3 rounds of each draft, essentially these players are either not on the team, played terribly and were cut, or were traded under kind of ignominious circumstances. Other than that, I don't really understand what these signings are accomplishing, besides kind of being hey, we're throwing money at players who have names that are recognizable. It doesn't seem like beyond Mac, there's a real coherent or cohesive like team building strategy from Belichick. And I think frankly, this is not me just being a hater. We give Belichick a lot of leash because of his pedigree, which is understandable.
Of course.
It's be expected. But I think at some point you have to look at these drafts, you have to look at these offseason acquisitions and wonder, has he kind of lost the scouting ability to make this team better than he had 15 years ago? Or
and
10
has the
years
league
ago?
caught up? I mean, what he was so good at, he was just leagues, no pun intended, but so far ahead in terms of scheming. And McDaniels helped with that in terms of like the way the offense looked. And they invented basically the slot receiver position as constructed today. But they did that not with a ton of great athletes in that position.
Or even like great players to a degree. I mean, they were great kind of because of the team and their success.
I mean, I would put up the players in Brady's tenure in New England versus Aaron Rodgers' skill position players a million times. Gronk, Randy Moss.
I'm not even sure if besides Devontae Adams, like the Packers have had a receiver as good as like Wes Welker.
Jordy Nelson.
Yeah, maybe Jordy Nelson. But
just tall white boy that time.
Yeah, that's right.
But like that, I mean, I'm concerned for Mac Jones, and I'm worried that this is very chaotic. Like, you kind of get a sense in training camp what some of these teams are putting out there in terms of how like it sounds. It just doesn't sound good coming out of New England. And so it's hard for me to put them in the playoffs, and it's hard for me to have them finishing ahead of the Dolphins, especially in the AFC, which is just stacked. Now on to the Jets.
Bradley. Yeah, 10 wins, baby.
So Bradley,
the Jets, Jets, Jets.
You're going to the game on Sunday.
I am going to the game on Sunday. I'm going to opening day. I am going to opening day with some of my friends from high school, and one of my high school friends' friend from college is adamant that Nick Mangold is coming to this tailgate.
Oh, well, that'd be cool.
I don't believe him whatsoever. I have zero hope that Nick Mangold's.
But that would be fun, right?
But if he does, I'm going to challenge him to a one-on-one.
I mean, to get a photo with that beard.
Go on my 3-point stance against Nick Mangold and try and stop him.
Oh yeah,
but yes, I will be there. I will be there to see the Ravens probably win like 35-14.
Yeah, so the Ravens are playing the Jets. Can you pull up the Jets schedule for me? Because, I mean, not even on the screen. I just want you to read it. Yep. I want you to read it. Yeah, because this is why I can't see the Jets taking this step this year. Listen to how hard this opening schedule is.
So they play the Ravens, which they'll probably lose. They play the Browns, which they will probably lose. They could
win against the Browns without, Deshaun Watson.
Oh yes, okay. They play. So that's a toss-up. They play the Bengals. They're going to lose. They'll play the Steelers, which I think they could win. They play the Dolphins. They'll probably lose. The Packers. They'll probably lose. The Broncos. They'll probably lose. The Patriots, because it's the Jets, they'll probably lose. The Bills. They'll probably lose. The Patriots. They'll probably lose again. The Bears. If they lose this game, I'm going to walk into the ocean. The Vikings, they'll probably lose. The Bills, they'll probably lose. The Lions, I actually think they'll probably lose. The Jaguars, I think they'll win. The Seahawks, I think they'll win. The Dolphins, they'll probably lose. I think I said they'll win 3 times.
And that's not fair because they have improved. The offense, unfortunately for them, Mekhi Becton is out for the year, and I loved him coming out in the draft because he's such a freak, but it's like, what does that weight take its toll on your joints and on your bones to an extent? It's
kind of the planet theory in the sense of like, I think maybe there was any sort of skepticism with Jordan Davis was kind of like the successful application of that was Becton, in the sense that if Becton's a hit, he's probably one of the most dominant offensive linemen in he's almost probably like Orlando Pace in the late 90s. But it's hard to be a guy who's 6'7", 350 pounds and not either get injured or have conditioning issues. And he's had both in spades, and he's most likely not going to play at all this season. So
yeah, it's a bummer. Because I want him to have success, but he's been injured. They still do have that rookie defensive or offensive lineman on the interior who they took. What's his name?
Elijah Vera Tucker?
Yeah. Oh, no, not rookie. They took him last year out of USC.
Mm-hmm.
Good player.
They signed Laken Tomlinson.
Mm-hmm. And they'll have that pass rusher Lawson coming back from
Carl
injury.
Lawson, yep.
And
CJ Mosley.
And then they drafted the best corner in the draft in Sauce Gardner. So there are a lot of really good pieces. But I worry that an impatient owner, another bad owner in Woody Johnson, is gonna see the win-loss record and blow it up when the Jets should be given some more patience.
And frankly, even though there hasn't been a lot of win-loss success under Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas of this regime of coach and general manager, probably the most like organizational stability in 20 years.
And
like,
I have hope. I still like Wilson. Zach Wilson's arm is not the problem. He's small. That's the issue.
It's always height is always the issue. And
weight.
and somebody who with a lower competition level in college with playing at BYU, combined with somebody who was kind of conditioned to at the sight of any sort of trouble to scramble. He scrambles in open pockets.
Yeah.
Like he needs to learn, he needs to be stronger, and he needs to learn actually how to go through his reads before deciding to run.
Yeah. Yeah. And look, it's just you're coming out of BYU, you don't necessarily have the knowledge base of how to play in the league. So I hope they're patient with him because he has premier talent. But the Jets, this might be a lost season.
And I think if there's good play from Garrett Wilson, the rookie wide receiver, if there's developed play from Elijah Moore, the second-year wide receiver, I think there will be many good takeaways from the season, regardless of whether it translates to like anything. Like if they win 5 games, I will be overjoyed.